So we go and sit down at the table, and our waiter comes up, and he's got a yin and yang sign on his arm. And I say, hey, dude, how you? He was cool dreads, bro. I said to him, you got the yin and yang sign on. What does that mean to you? Well, you've got good versus evil, darkness and light. I said, it almost sounds like the gospel, man. Well, everybody has his own path. All that stuff. I said, bro, Jesus loves you so much. You're so amazing, man. Hey, man, can I take your drink water? Like, you guys want some beers? You want this? You want that? I guess it must be normal for Christians to get beers and all kinds of stuff. It's not normal, man. It's not normal. It's not normal. It's a stumbling block to people. We need to be separate. Come out from among. Be separate. Be different. I can't afford to sit there and have a bunch of wine and a bunch of beer. I can't afford that. Personally, I wouldn't, because it makes me sick. Because it makes you less than who God has created you to be. It dulls your senses, and it has you live with a twistedness. This isn't legalism. It's not. Grace isn't a license to do whatever you want. Grace is the ability to walk as an imitator of God, to walk like Jesus. I'm not going to compromise just to sit there and be social. Why would I want to sacrifice truth on the altar of trying to be culturally relevant? Oh, it's just a good word. So we tell him water, water, water. And then he goes back and he comes back, and I started to share my testimony with him. He goes, dude, that's crazy. How'd that work? Like, that's nuts. I said, hey, man, I said, dude, you hurt your wrist when you were a kid. He goes, oh, my God, man. I said, when you were really little. He goes, how could you know that, man? I fell off the monkey bars when I was in kindergarten and broke my wrist. He goes, who are you? I said, I'm a Christian and love Jesus, man. God spoke to me immediately and said, tonight is his last night. I went, oh my gosh. And the urgency hit my heart. It's always an urgency for me. That's why I witness. I don't witness to try to impress people. I witness because somebody's path that you crossed isn't going to be alive tomorrow. Somebody that I see on the road driving, somebody that I see in a grocery store, somebody somewhere isn't going to be alive tomorrow, and you are the opportunity that they have to have an encounter with somebody who's an imitator of God. Somebody, see, eternity isn't over here. Eternity is right beside you. Anytime you can step over, that's eternity. Eternity isn't out here. Eternity is right beside you. Anytime. Over, done, history, gone, finished. Here today, gone tomorrow, like a vapor and a wind. So that's why I said to him, I said, hey, I said, bro, I said, Jesus loves you, man. He loves you so much, man. And I started to share with him. And here this kid looked at me and he goes, man, I just got out of a rehab. I left early. He goes, my mom actually was going to pick me up. She's trying to call me right now. I said, call your mom right now. Call your mom. He goes, and his phone rang right then, like a text came in. It was his mother. I said, dude, call your mom right now. He goes, wait, hold on. He gives his life to Jesus. Like, they've been trying to get him to give his life to Jesus for a long time. He's like, man, this is crazy. He's overwhelmed. He sits down. The presence of God hits this kid at the tail. Our waiter rocks him, like to the point where I don't know what to say. The love of God hits this kid. He gets born again. He calls his mom. I said, hey, you. I was here talking to your son. She's like, okay. And I told him about Jesus. He said, yeah, Mom, I just gave my life to Jesus. I met some people here. And she's like, I can hear her on the phone. Get the phone. Hey, I'm with your son, Tanner. Yeah, Jesus just touched his heart. Oh, my gosh. Really? I said, yeah, I'm speaking at a church. I was speaking at Bethel, Atlanta the next day. And I said, yeah, I'm going to be speaking at this church. I said, I'd love to have you guys come, like just to be a part of it. I would love to see Tanner in the morning. She goes, he said he wanted to go to church. I said, yeah. She goes, oh my gosh, I would definitely take him. She's crying. How did you reach my son? How did you reach my son? Here that night, he was planning on going out on a binge. He quit the rehab. He's fresh out, just got a job, and he's going out on a cocaine binge that night. God spoke to me and ended that, cut it off He said, tonight will be his last night. That, to me, if I can touch one person before it's their last night, what's that worth to you? What's it worth to touch one person? That's worth everything to me. And so this kid shows up the next morning with his mama. And his mom comes in, and they have a friend. And I saw her, and I said, hey, you. And she's looking at me. She's like, and Tanner's crying, hey. Like he doesn't cry. He's bawling like he had first night of life, you know. And I said, come here. And I brought her up front, and we're just loving on this lady and telling everybody, hey, the story. And I said, oh, wait. And just really hurt in my heart. We need to take an offering for this lady. And they ended up like, it was like a wrecking ball service, dude. Like it was crazy. Like they're up there and everybody just came up and started pouring out money and for the family, blessing this lady. She's like, ah! Tanner's hugging everybody. Never been loved, man. Like, oh my God. Like hundreds and hundreds of people are just coming. And they ended up taking a pile of money for this lady. Because she spent all this money on rehabs and all this money on stuff, and he's stolen her credit cards and all that stuff. And this is just part. They took a $7,000 offering for that lady that day. What kind of amazing love is that? And he got completely wrecked.